Now, if you want higher wages, let me tell you what to do. You got to talk to the workers in the shop with you. You got to build you a union, got to make it strong. But if you all stick together, boys, 'twon't be long. You get shorter hours, better working conditions, vacations with pay, take a kid to the seashore. It ain't quite this simple, so I better explain just why you got to ride on the union train, because if you wait...
Here's what I know about Jim Moran. One, he is the heart and soul of the labor movement. His mission in life is to help organize workers to win the material goods they need and the respect that they deserve for themselves and their families. Two, he never forgets where he came from, a tough neighborhood in Philadelphia. And three, he is loyal to his friends, his union brothers and sisters, his community, his country, and his class. So here's to you, Jim Moran.
Our family history, as I see it, was and still is to some degree a long line of narrow thinkers. Just repeat what you're taught, don't question it. A major change happened when you, as a young man, educated yourself and started questioning everything, becoming more of a critical thinker. This put you at odds with some family members and others, but I'm grateful you did it, because your influence got me to think about my own education in life, realizing my own learning process had been skewed. I started questioning things myself, developing my own internal values, and was much more comfortable with the way I thought. Generally speaking, a kid from Kensington like me with no real direction in life usually follows a particular path, and few deviate from it. But instead, I followed a different path, and I attend events and read books and hear speeches by Amy Goodman, Howard Zinn, Noam Chomsky, and others, and I actually got to speak with some of them. That's not normally what happens to kids like me from Kensington. However, I was lucky enough to have an uncle who was also from Kensington, and I appreciate your influence and your examples, and you've had a huge impact with regard to my critical thinking. I couldn't imagine life without it.
Okay, hey Dad, it's your daughter, and I just wanted to say you're my hero and I love you. And, you know, this time together that we have, it's really good. And I think I said everything I want to say to you. There's so much. And don't forget, I love you. I'm on your side.
I think it's very important to be on the right side of things, and I owe that to you. You know, I can trace it back. I can trace that back. If you rewind this movie back to when I'm 6 or 7 years old, I'm 54 now. You come into the house, guitar, long hair, jokes like George Carlin. And yeah, what more could you want as a kid? You know, that's pretty cool. But you brought something much more important. You brought something different. You brought knowledge into the house, and that's different. That's a whole different ball game. It was a place, 406 East Allegheny Avenue in Kensington. There wasn't a lot of knowledge happening in my house or in the other houses in the neighborhood. It's not something that, you know what I mean. And that changed my life. That is a whole other ball game.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
From all of you good workers, good news to you I'll tell of how the...
May Day is as American as apple pie. It happened here. It started here. And it was during the struggle for the 8-hour day. And some 80 countries recognize May Day as the day to honor workers globally. About 10 years ago, we held an event for May Day and decided to do that each year now. And I told Pat this, I said, it'll take 10 years for this to get any traction. I knew that. And here we are at the 10th year, and interestingly enough, all of a sudden we're hearing national strike on May Day.
Thank you for all you've done for working people. I think about the time we were walking through City Hall and folks were carrying a casket. And the whole purpose was to get City Council to support Councilman Cohen's legislation for an asbestos bill, which, by the way, turned out to be the best asbestos piece of legislation in the country. And you know how reluctant I was to join the crowd back in those days when I represented Local 14. But I knew that we had a lot of people dying from mesothelioma, and we couldn't have gotten this bill without you pressing the issue and leading the way.
I figured out just now that we've known each other for over 45 years, and there have been so many memories working with individuals who got fired fighting for safety and health and trying to get their jobs back. And Jimmy Cosenza comes to mind. Or working to form safety and health committees like you did at ITE Gould when you were in the UAW. Or taking on big national, huge battles like defeating the Schweiker amendments to OSHA, which included picketing his house, which a lot of folks, or some folks, didn't like, but we thought it was the right thing to do at the time. And there are just so many memories.
I think what I remember the most was your smile, the fact that you were always trying to figure out how to sort of move forward and dealing with a whole lot of difficult personalities. And I do remember, I do recall like the various fights that we were engaged in together, and that you would call and we would conspire sort of how to move the stodgy old labor movement in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania. And you also had to deal with New Jersey as well, because you were a multi-state, multi-geographical COSH group, and the whole crew up there, and trying to figure out a way how to get those folks to move, in any way possible. And you did. You absolutely did. And I think it was really a testament to you, and a testament to the fact that, Corey, you're like a labor guy, a trade unionist, but you care first and foremost about workers.
To Jim Moran, the militant trade unionist and warrior for social, economic, and racial justice, you guided Charlie onto such an important path as you've guided the COSH movement and so many others. Thank you for inspiring so many for so long. The work you have done will not only speak for you, as the song goes, but will be instrumental in helping new generations speak for themselves and others in an ever-growing movement that is your legacy.
We need our own party. And we keep hanging out with the Democrats and giving them all our money, for example, and all our shoe leather, and our troops in the street, and so forth, to win elections. But we, as the saying goes in the movement, we can elect, but we cannot collect. When it comes time to do for us what we want, such as health care as it should be, national health care, everybody in, nobody out, okay? Free health care. Stop wars and let's have health care, for example.
Have to sing something for him.
Let us
and
hear
this
it.
is actually dedicated to his wife. So I don't know if I'm going to make it. I'm going to try my best. And this is for you too, Jim. The name of it is Union Maid. Okay, I'm going to try. Oh, there once was a union maid who never was afraid of goons and ginks and company thinks and deputy sheriffs who made the raid. She went to the union hall where a meeting it was called, and when the sheriffs came around, she always stood her ground.
It was my first job out of school. I remember my interview with you and then with Rick Engler. I think I nailed it when Rick asked me, "What are your thoughts on management?" And I said, "I hate management." The job was mine. Anyway, I loved working with you at PhilaPOSH, along with Sandra Dungy, Jerry Balter, Joe Lurie. You wore your leadership lightly, tough to your adversaries, at the same time kind, stubborn, funny, irreverent, and always, always on the side of the little guy. Also, as a young woman trying to figure out love, I used to watch you and Aggie at the PhilaPOSH office. and think to myself, these two people really seem to like each other. Is that even possible in a marriage?
Your experience, your generous guidance, and your amazing savvy and strategic thinking, mixed with what seemed to be a boundless commitment and passion in advocating for the absolute right to a safe and healthy workplace for every worker, not just rubbed off on me, but also marked me somehow, providing me with something to aim for.
Censorship is in many forms. The omission from textbooks in the schools, the twisting of the truth by the press, who's supposed to be defending the truth, and on and on and on it goes. And in all the forms of our culture and our history we're being deprived of.
I just want to send you a huge shout out and a big thank you for all the work you've done as a board member and as one of the founders of PhilaPOSH. You guys hired me back in 2007, and I couldn't be more appreciative and more thankful. You've been around to share your wisdom and all your knowledge when it comes to health and safety and pretty much just workers' rights. So, without you, I wouldn't be sitting here. So I truly appreciate it. Send you my warm wishes and much love.
We really wish more labor leaders would be like you, connecting the poor and unemployed together. And also, I want to thank you for chairing, the Labor Party Committee here in Philadelphia, for my sheriff's campaign, for being the treasurer for Jill's campaign, for doing so many very important things. We just intend to pass on all of the lessons that we've learned from your working class, principled life, from one Kensington woman to another Kensington man. We love you.
Through the workers' blood shall run. There can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. Yet what force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one? But the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever.